Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be talking about the harsh truth for coin dealers. And this is something that I just was never, I'm a college student, but I think I've been thinking about, and I'm curious on your thoughts about how to make coin dealing viable, because a lot of people think about this, and there's one sort of key component that is less focused on. And that harsh truth, I'm not going to take 10 minutes into the video to introduce what it might be, is that coin dealers have to pay themselves. And so I think that there's an interesting tension with a coin business that might be a little bit unlike most other ones, but I think it eats into any sort of bootstrap startup. Like, I'm in a bunch of entrepreneurship classes in college, and a lot of the companies people are building are more so like a tech product. So they come up with a technology, and then they have some sort of software that they want to sell people, and then they get a bunch of people to buy it, and the costs are like, maybe there's a little bit of sort of variable cost around delivering the product, like cloud storage costs and data center costs. But most of the cost is like fixed in terms of like hiring software developers and like getting to a product. Maybe you have them on retainer. But the point is, you can very much scale it with the proper marketing, and you can raise outside capital versus coin businesses. And like some other businesses, maybe like a pizza shop or a store, a gas station, something like that, where you really want to have a profitable, you can't run a coin business at a loss for a very long time if you're just trading coins. Like, if you are consistently buying and selling coins and you keep on getting 90% of what you put in, you're going to be out of business relatively quickly. Well, the harsh truth then kicks in when, if you want to have a coin business and you're, somebody in America or wherever who wants to buy and sell coins to make a living, you're going to be able to make a lot more money if you have a larger amount of capital to work with. So that means, like, if I'm trading $10,000 of coins, you want to be turning over your inventory pretty frequently, but just generally, a lot of and there's different bottlenecks in different businesses, but if you can make $50,000 on the amount of inventory that you have, that's great. But it's and you theoretically will be able to make more if you can then put all that money after taxes back into your business. But that's not quite how it works, because if you're doing this full time, you have to also take money out of the business to cover your other needs in life. That might be like rent or paying for your family. There's a bunch of expenses. You might have a car, you want to buy a house. There's all sorts of things, and this can definitely be fixed. That's like bank loans and loans from other coin companies and flexible payment terms, and there's lots of different things like that, and it probably comes down to taking on debt. But I think it's a big reason that less people or there would be probably a lot more coin dealers if there was unlimited capital available, which is kind of how it would work for any business. But when you think about like doing the math and making dealing viable, you sort of have to have a bunch of cash in your business to be able to operate it well. And, that can be a pretty big problem. If you're a brick and mortar store, you probably want to have, tens of that, or a bank line, but you want to have a ton of cash available so that somebody comes in the door with a $200,000 collection. That's not an issue. You can kind of pay for it and have that liquidity available. There's other models that can work well with a lot. We certainly don't have 200,000 in cash and inventory at Treasure Town. It's much smaller than that. But I could see, like, for a big firm and for a lot of the coin dealers that I talk to, like, they don't want to spend stuff on other things because they're able to make more if they don't spend, and they're just rolling the profits of their business into more and more coins. And so it's like, why would they want to make 8% or 7% on stocks if they feel like the returns on the invested capital that they're putting into their business or that they are actively using in their inventory is much higher? So maybe it's 20%. So at that stage, like, then there's a picture of, okay, well, I should just take out a bunch of debt. Maybe I'm paying 10 or 14%, but if I can make 20 or 25% on all of that inventory, that's great. But then they might also fall into a trap of, okay, if you have a bank line, like I saw an article about a dealer that had a bank line and had a bunch of stuff out because they made a big purchase, and often dealers will pay 5% back of spot or 2% back of spot on a huge bullion deal, and then they got robbed. And so all of a sudden they have no collateral for the, inventory backed loan that they took out. And they got wiped out. So I think that just it's an interesting thing for a coin business because, again, say you're sort of hitting that critical mass and then you need to purchase a house, coming up with a down payment and then paying, as a liability on that asset just paying interest payments on this home that you own as a coin dealer gets a lot more difficult because you're suffocating the business that you actually are running by not having that money available. So something that I'd love to dig into more and discuss with a bunch more coin dealers, how they've kind of managed that. But it's definitely a reality as you think about how viable coins is. You have to be able to come up with that and have the consistency. And it kind of gets into different lifestyles. I feel like people often will remark that there's sort of interesting and funny different lifestyles that coin dealers live. But, that's just something that is a harsh truth, something people should be thinking about as they put together a coin business is how am I going to get paid? What does the salary look like? Because, you can't have a business if, you could have a ton of coins, but if you can't put food on your table, which that's not really the issue for really strong coin traders, but certainly something to think through. And I'm interested in how all of you think about it. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to visit our website, treasuretown.com, to stay up to date on everything going on the channel and possibly get some great deals on coins and collectibles. We look forward to seeing you on our future videos, and best wishes until then.